Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is organic intelligence. We're really stepping into an age where artificial intelligence is becoming a large matrix of something that is being utilized and being offered. And the more we begin to do studies on the influence of what is known as artificial intelligence, the more we begin to recognize that there are some trials and tribulations that come with making this massively accessible to the all without any consideration of the repercussions or any double-blind studies or any studies being done on what does it mean to be giving humanity a tool that within a decade will far supersede the capacities that most two-leggeds have and their abilities to do some of the funnest things that we do here at our school, such as create or write or, these things that allow us to use our organic intelligence and organic mind. We are finding that ChatGPT and systems such as these that are written to be an AI form of use that is pulling on all the information that's available through the World Wide Web to provide for you a resume, to provide for you, many I've heard people say, to write a response to your beloved. People are using artificial intelligence to tell the beloved what their heart says instead of their own mouth, their own heart, their own divine creative principle and temple. It's like, well, okay, thank you for this artificially intelligent information, but I'm dating your organic flesh costume. To each their own, but it's important to consider what the tool that we're using. You see, artificial intelligence is leading many people into a state of psychosis because artificial intelligence is written to be agreeable to you. Now, the thing about organic intelligence is that your best friend, maybe if you're lucky, your lover, if you're lucky, your family, or the people in the river of your life, they will tell you and not appease your ego and be honest with you when you're doing something that doesn't ultimately serve the self. But AI is not written this way. AI is written to agree with you, like you are the authority and the greatest intelligence, and everything you say is so smart, which has led many people into literally dire circumstances. There are people that have traveled to new locations talking to AI, thinking they're going to meet someone for a relationship, and then they've died in the process of that. There are those that are being put into mental institutions because AI is so much agreeing with their own ideas that or organic intelligence, a two-legged with awareness and empathy and other components that aren't present with AI would say, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should go travel over there to meet AI. I don't think that, no, if you're going to do that, you need to plan that, So it's not going to just agree. That's a great idea. I've had two-leggeds literally hand me business ideas and I'm like, it's not really a good idea. Here's why, here's why, here's why. And I've had them read me all the reasons AI has agreed with what a brilliant idea that they've had to prosper in this world. And they're not prospering from it. They're following the AI intelligence and it's not serving them, And so sometimes we need a no, or that doesn't serve you, or that's not the best idea. My sister, one of the things I dearly love about her and all the friends that I have in the river of my life that are closest to me, often tell me Heather, I don't think, they'll be very direct with me about what they perceive to be the truth. Here's something I don't think you see about what you said to that person, or here's what I feel like is your work in this circumstance, or here's my perspective if you were having that conversation with me. You see, a two-legged that truly loves you will offer you the truth. And I have found this to consistently be true. People that love me the most aren't going to appease my ego. They may tell me, hey, I got to tell you, if you want my opinion on this, it's going to feel like a gut punch. And I've told my friends, tell me that. And I'll go, okay, ready to take a gut punch. Let's go. What is it? You know what I mean? Oh, that did sting a little bit. And I find truth in what you said. Let me evaluate myself. Let me evaluate my response. Let me consider the way I am responding to life. One of the things that we do when we're not incessantly agreed with is we start to consider the role that we are playing in the web of creation. We start to do shadow integration. We start to do things that cause us to consider what is not the highest intelligence within us, our ego. Your ego loves to be like, you're amazing, they suck. You know what I mean? They're the problem, you're never the problem. Because the ego is part of how we get self-esteem. However, it's not about anyone being at fault, to blame. The problem It's about we are in a space in which evolution is possible for all beings. It's kind of the nature of how things are occurring for us down here scientifically, if we choose to believe in things like math. So when we believe in those things, if evolution is occurring, evolution doesn't always occur in a complacent, agreed with, agreeable environment. It can occur in a hostile environment. This creature can learn to run faster if the predator tends to attack by running. You know what I mean? And through organic intelligence, we can start to recognize, I need boundaries. I need to get away. That is a no. I need to work on myself. That wasn't them. That was me. Let me own this piece. There are many components of what I would call organic intelligence that are not present when we are constantly having our ego agreed with. In addition to this facet of leaning into artificial intelligence, many that are responsible and connected to the creation and use of artificial intelligence in our world are telling people within a decade, your jobs are going to become obsolete. AI is going to replace you. So we're offering a system that is causing psychosis in many different people. It's even created dire circumstances for people following its advice. You'll find again and again and again that there are articles available to you now of the challenges, trials, and tribulations that are being present culturally for us all globally as a result of people trusting AI. AI doesn't have empathy. It doesn't have the devotion to say, I need to tell you a difficult truth, and it's what I'm experiencing. It's my truth. It's my experience. It's not necessarily yours, but I do believe this difficult truth will support you moving forward. You know, it's like, I feel like in that conversation, you weren't really listening to them. You were talking over them. And if you were having that conversation with me, I would have asked you to please receive me, because it doesn't sound like that's what they were saying. You see, a human can tell you when things are off or wrong or unaligned. If you have something that's constantly agreeing with you and you have a fool's mind, which we all have egos, so all of us have a little bit of foolishness going on in there for sure. I would call it a lot, because the ego has a strong tendency and propensity to want to run the show. And this ego label maker system, which is meant to discern, fire is hot, don't stick your hand in it, but in the modern age has become the great judger, fire is bad, get away from it. And is causing many of us to not be able to communicate, to not accept diversity. We are stepping away, further and further away, as we allow artificial intelligence, our phones, our social media, our television programming, our phone programming, to tell us how to think. We already know that it is written. There have been studies done on this. There have been shows done on this in which we are beginning to see that it is designed to agree with you, not just AI, but even your social media. If you talk about flat Earth a lot, your phone, of course, is listening. Thank you, Snowden. And because it's listening, you'll find more and more articles that agree with you about how flat the Earth is and what a problem it is. Because I have great concerns about AI, my phone tells me about the psychosis issues. It tells me about how it's going to take over all of our jobs. It tells me about some of the trials and tribulations that can be presenced as a result of us just implicitly trusting something that we've done no studies on what the ultimate effect can be. How is this going to affect our job industry? How is it going to affect our psychology? How is it going to affect our creative capacity? How is it going to affect our intellect, our reasoning capacities, if we trust something else to always answer for us? Heather Feather does not remember any numbers but her own and her sister's. And why is that? Because ages ago, artificial intelligence started keeping track of it for me, right? And so no longer does my brain have all these numbers memorized if I have trial or tribulation. I don't have a payphone I can go to, because we keep kind of pulling away from systems that could support, with my mind being able to utilize resources to move things forward. We are creating greater and greater dependency on technology. Now, technology is a gift. I have created many classes, and through Zoom have done tons of spiritual classes in the past decade. Thanks to Zoom, thanks to my laptop, I've been able to produce documents. But the documents were created with my organic intelligence. They were created with my organic organization. And through that, my neural network and the way my brain is wired together, the way that it fires, is highly functional today, because I keep challenging my brain to write the thing rather than something else to write it for me. And then my brain has to figure out how to organize the data, how to have it be clear. People are using AI in a lot of different capacities, and I do understand why. I've seen those that have used artificial intelligence to respond to someone in a romantic relationship. They said this, and then AI told me to say this, so I said this. The challenge with that is that you're not answering them, and if you're dating someone, maybe they want to know the person they're dating and not what the computer had to say about what's going on between you two. So you can do that, certainly, and it may sound very beautiful, but it may not really get to the root of what's going on in the relationship and what may serve y'all moving forward. So are we dating robots? What are we doing? Are we dating each other? Are we dating robots? What's going on here? Organic intelligence is something that can be quite violent. It can be quite aggressive. It can be quite abrasive. It can have a no, and it can disagree. Organic intelligence. No, this plant doesn't pollinate with that one. This is an asexual plant. It reproduces by budding, blah, blah, blah. The organic intelligence offers disagreement. It offers disagreement. We've seen it in humanity since the dawn of time, but we can see it in other creatures. And that disagreement can actually be the fodder or the wind under the wings, if you will, of one's evolution. Oh, you disagree with me? Well, I agree with me. Let me figure out how I can have this thing be in the world. It is through our contrast, it is through our diversity that we are given infinite opportunity to truly evolve on this rock floating through space. It is all the people that disagree with me that cause my opinion to mean anything to me. If everyone in all of cosmology, if 8.2 billion people agreed with everything I said, then nothing that I said would mean anything. So I take a knee and I bow in reverence to the enemy, or that which does not agree with me, or that which holds very divergent opinion from me. There are coins flipping on every topic in the universe, and I never expect that only one side of the coin of any given topic should be present, because that's not the organic intelligence of how life is expressed. Life has always expressed those that are takers, those that are givers. It always expresses the entire coin, the shadow and the light, as well as the rim, or the capacity to neutrally observe both states, the love and the fear, whatever that is. And so I don't want a world where we all agree, because what's the point of coming to Earth School? You know what I mean? I would imagine in the spiritual plane, and I've heard tell as I've studied endless reincarnation and near-death experience stories, that in the spiritual plane, we actually do have greater alignment and agreement, because we don't have this ego component that wants to be righteous or be right and make others wrong and put their foot on the neck of others, irrespective of who that other is. This separatist capacity that we have, this divisive capacity. But that divisive capacity is one of the things that is the expression of diversity. And diversity is one of the things that offers contrast, that allows individuals to more fully claim, this is who I be in relationship to the living tree. Out of all of the diverse expressions, I claim this and this and this and this. That's what the ego is doing, is claiming its labels. And that's how it's forming its self-esteem, right? And so that is part of the innate organic design of the organic intelligence of how we are made. And so if we turn everything over to artificial intelligence and start leaning heavily into that field, AI will far surpass our capacity to write. AI can't do that, for example. AI won't do that. It's always going to try to get it perfectly right. And then we lose the tickle and the fun of mistakes, which is actually how we form more gray matter in our brain, is through making mistakes. But because we make mistakes, AI will take over the intelligent capacity to write a paper, to make a resume, to do a given thing. And then all of a sudden, the organic intelligence that we hold becomes obsolete because we've given it to something else. And so it's important to really consider in one's being, in one's life, as we move forward, and technology will continue to expand in our paradigm. That's just the way it is. How much of this artificial intelligence, how much of this social media, how much of this television programming, how much of this phone programming do I want to be the organic intelligence of my life? How much do I want to have true organic intelligence, to connect to nature, to build things myself, to create myself, to speak for myself, to be the authority of what it is, what information I want to organize and how I want to say it? How much do I truly want to be me? And how much am I wanting to give away that character to artificiality? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. I always love your thoughts. I'm Lynn.